The sun is literally setting, so sorry if the lighting just gets progressively worse throughout this video. Hi guys, so a few days ago I uploaded this video, which if you've not already seen, I recommend you watch that before you watch this one. This is kind of like the part one to this video, and in that video I basically told you all of my goals for 2021, and as promised, as the little part two to that video, in this video I'm going to be showing you how I'm actually going about achieving those goals and how you guys can too. So a lot of what I'm going to be showing you is done on the Notion app, which if you've not got, highly recommend. It is basically like the Notes app but a lot better and has a lot of different features, but it's basically just like an organization app. When you first use it, it's slightly confusing because there's so many different like functions, but I just recommend getting it and testing out all the different features, because when you do, you will literally be obsessed like I now am. So I've kind of separated this into like steps of how I'm going about reaching my goals this year, but if you are like following along with this, you don't have to use all of these steps. These are just ones that I'm using, but you can just pick the ones that you think will work for you. And if you have your own other methods, leave them in the comments because I would love to know those. So yeah, obviously I'm going to be using like my own list from the last video as my like example, but you obviously just replace those with your own goals and then follow along with these steps. So I hope you enjoyed the video, subscribe and like and all that if you do, and let's get on to it. So the first step to actually achieving your goals, which is a very easy one, and that is literally just writing down your goals. If you've probably heard this statistic before because it's quite like a well-known statistic now. I hear a lot of people say it, but if you write down your goals, you are already 42% more likely to achieve them. So why would you not do it, you know? So if you are actually following along with this and you actually have written a list of goals, you're already over 40% more likely to achieve them, so well done. Now, the next step, actually moving into Notion now. So, step one, first thing I did was I took that initial list, I'll put here, and I rewrote them in Notion in a little category called 2021 goals. Very creative, I know. So obviously in the last video and how I still have kept it now, I've like sectioned them into different categories of goal, being physical, school, social media, skill, and then other, but you can categorize them however you want. You can do it in order of like importance or like order of when you'll actually like be able to do them in the year, however you want. But the important thing when writing this list is, as you can probably see, these aren't exactly the same goals as I wrote in the initial list, which I can only really explain through like examples. So take for example the skateboarding goal. So in the last video I obviously had the goal to get better at skateboarding. The issue with that is the fact that it's such like a vague general goal. Like I could literally practice skateboarding for like 10 minutes and I would technically already be better than I was. And so instead I reworded that to learn to ollie, because obviously that's still technically the same goal because I would have to get better to be able to learn to ollie, you know, but it's a goal that actually has like a final end goal to it, and also that actually requires me to put in like a lot more time and effort than if I just had the general goal of get better at it. So essentially take any goals from your list that are kind of vague and broad and reword them in a way that does actually give you an end goal. And then another thing that I did to kind of like reword them slightly was that I took some of the bigger goals and broke them down into like smaller, more specific goals that I can actually like tick off individually. So for example, on my last list was just to be consistent on social media. I instead have broken that down now into posting 2 videos a week on YouTube, posting once a week on Instagram, and posting 3 times a week on TikTok, because I feel like if you set yourself more specific goals, then you can kind of visualize like a clearer path of how to actually achieve them. So my next step, which I can't actually do until like later in the year, but basically it is that once I actually finish one of these goals, instead of just like ticking that off and saying right, like I'm done with that for the year, then I instead will like set myself a second goal in that same category. So for example, like one of my goals was to reach 1 million total views on YouTube. So say I somehow completed that by like, I don't know, June for example, right? Then I would go on here and I would, you know, maybe symbolically tick that off. Where is the tick? There it is. And then next I would drop down this little tab and instead write that I want to reach 1.5 million views, like that. And then again, if I somehow achieve that by October then for example, then I would drop it down again and put reach 2 million views. And obviously this isn't relevant to like every single one of your goals, because obviously like moving to my own apartment for example is not really like a second step to that, you know what I mean? But I recommend to do it wherever it is relevant, because obviously that way you are kind of always reaching towards a goal and it's not just that you complete something and then tick it off and that's it. Basically this isn't obviously a way to like achieve your goals, but it is a way to maintain them once you have completed them. Hi, this is editing me. So I basically just realised that I completely missed out an entire section that I was meant to talk about. I am very sleep deprived, okay, it's not my fault. And it is basically to narrow down your yearly goals into monthly or quarterly goals. So I personally prefer to use monthly goals, but if you prefer to use what was the other one? Quarterly goals. It's really late. Then do that. I know a lot of people prefer to do that. Anyway, so here is my monthly goals section on Notion, and so each of these is a separate page. None of them are actually filled out except for obviously January. And so as you can see, I've taken some of my yearly goals, only the ones that are actually going to be relevant for the next month or quarter, depending on the way you're doing it, and then narrowing that down into a smaller, more manageable goal for that month that goes towards the final goal. So for example, obviously one of my goals was to reach 1 million views on YouTube, so a couple smaller steps to go towards that is reach 5,000 subscribers on YouTube this month and post every single Wednesday and Sunday at 12 PM, which might not even be possible this rate. I might have to just entirely refilm this entire video because I'm such a mess. And then the payoff debts thing isn't actually relevant to any of these goals, it's just something I had to do. And then one of my other goals was to read 12 books this year, so I want to finish reading 2 books out of those 12 this month if I can. I want to post once a week on Instagram and TikTok every week for this month, which now I'm thinking about it is almost been a week of this year and I still haven't actually done that. I said I wanted to cook 1 new meal this month, but I've already actually done that, so I will tick that off. And then drop that down and write cook 3 new meals instead. And then I want to use the law of attraction daily, which the law of attraction I will get to later in this video. And then the last one is to write 3 journal entries, because one of my goals for the year is to fill up an entire journal, which is actually going to be really difficult considering, you know, it's the 5th of January and I still haven't even started that. But anyway, my goal is to write 3 journal entries this month, so yeah, those are the monthly goals. Anyway, sorry that I just completely forgot about that section. Anyway, hope you enjoy the rest of the video and I'm gonna go now. But anyway, moving on to the next step, and this is a fun step, and that is to make a vision board. So if you don't know what a vision board is, it is essentially a like collection or like a collage of photos, quotes, like anything like that that just inspires you and like are like relevant to your goals. But this is one I made, for example. So you've got, you can see my ring light, but you've got photos of like an apartment and a hot skater boyfriend, you know, Billie Eilish concert, subscriber plaque, places that I want to travel, and then just some photos that are just like the general vibe that I want for the year, I guess. But obviously yours can look however you want it to. If you like respond more to like quotes and stuff, then just include those, and you don't have to include photos or the other way around. But the most important thing about making a vision board, or more like once you've made it, is don't just make it and then put it somewhere that you're never going to look at it again. You want to put it somewhere that you're going to look at it every single day. So you can put it next to your bed, so it's like the first thing that you see before you go to sleep and the first thing you see when you wake up. You could put it like near your desk, for example, if that is where you spend most of your time. Or like I have done, which is a good idea, is to set it as your lock screen. So I've set it as a lock screen for my iPad. I'm going to show you guys how I made this vision board and how you can too. So the first thing I did was to go onto Pinterest and basically just look up photos or quotes, places you want to travel, things that you want to have, I guess. So I already have made a Pinterest board for 2021 that I started like a couple months ago. Follow me on Pinterest if you want, by the way, it's linked down below. So like I did for the first one, I'm just going to go through here and pick some like random photos that I want to include in the vision board and screenshot those. Then what I use, you can use any kind of like photo collage app that you want, but I use this. It's a free website called Moodsa. I can't pronounce that properly. And so this is where I made my last one. Like I said, you can use any photo collage-y kind of thing that you want, but this is just what I use. So you just import all of your photos, and then this basically lets you just like make any photo whatever size you want. You can move them wherever you want, and it's like completely customizable, so that's why I liked using this one. And then obviously once you've got it how you want it, then just export it and save it as your lock screen, and that's basically that. But the point of doing this anyway is because if you could actually like look at your goals every single day, even if you're not like actually looking at each individual photo, just kind of like having it in like your peripheral vision, and just like it'll be in the back of your head and you'll kind of subconsciously be wanting to work towards your goals, if that makes sense. That was a really long-winded way to describe that. Complete tangent, but does anyone else just hate how early it gets dark now? It's literally 5 o'clock and it's already pitch black outside. Depressing. And that kind of leads into my last goal, which I'm not gonna like go too deep into because I'll make a whole separate video if you guys actually want to know more about it, because I could talk about it for hours, and that is the law of attraction. So if you haven't heard of the law of attraction and you don't know what it is, then actually what is like the technical definition of it? Right, it is the attractive magnetic power of the universe that manifests through everyone and through everything. Even the law of gravity is part of the law of attraction. The law attracts thoughts, ideas, people, situations, circumstances, and things that you think about. So essentially, it basically means that the things that you think about will influence the things that happen in your life. And like I was saying about the vision boards, even if you don't like specifically look at each individual photo on it every single day, by just having it in the background of whatever you're doing, it's gonna like automatically kind of go into your subconscious, and you are kind of gonna be thinking about it without even realizing it, and that is how you essentially can manifest it into your life. Kind of like when you have a dream about something that you literally just saw in the corner of your eye at some point during the day, it's kind of like that. And more so linking to goals, it is more about actually believe in yourself, and you actually believe that you can and will reach those goals, then you will. But if you have a lot of doubt in yourself and you don't actually think that they are realistic goals, and you don't think that you're going to achieve them, then you won't, is kind of the point I'm trying to make. But yeah, like I said, I'll make a whole separate video on that if you want to know more about that, because I could literally go on and on and on about it. But anyway, that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it gave you some motivation to go and reach your goals this year. And like I said, these are just methods that I'm using this year, but you can use any others that you can think of. Like bullet journaling, for example, is obviously a popular one, but I just don't have the attention span for that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe, turn on post notifications, follow me on social media if you want. They're all down in the description. I hope you guys go out and achieve all of your goals and all of your dreams this year and every other year. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!